I keep hearing how marriage is overrated or just a piece of paper.
Hey beautiful people, how you are doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome back to my channel. How you are doing? Hope you guys are doing great. Today's video, I found this video very interesting because let me know down in the comment section, do you think marriage is overrated? Go down in the comment section and share your thought before you see this. So let's do before and after, okay? Before you hear what the sister have to say, okay? So yeah, the sister came online to talk about how people should stop saying marriage is overrated, that marriage is just a piece of paper, that it is just a piece of paper, but it's very important because when it's time to make important decisions to your life, especially when you're in the hospital, you're unable to make those decisions about your life. The first person they're going to call is your spouse, and one way to prove that the person is your spouse is the marriage certificate and also claim to properties and all that. She has so much to say. Let's go hear what she has to say, then we'll come back and talk.
I keep hearing how marriage is overrated or just a piece of paper, and here are my thoughts on that. And these are just a few of the important pieces of marriage, but marriage is overrated until you're sitting in a hospital room and the doctor is looking for the next of kin or somebody who does share the same last name as your spouse to make any final decisions because you can't. Marriage is just a piece of paper until you're fighting for your life in the courtroom because everybody and their mama who shared just a little bit of blood with your spouse who was no longer with us is contesting your claims to anything because the courts respect a marriage license or blood. It is what it is. Now, for people who are like marriage is just a piece of paper, so's the deed to your house. But guess what? The courts will respect that you are the owner of that house, and that is preventing people from coming up and laying claims to something that is yours. So the reality of it is you are not going to get the benefits of marriage without having the responsibilities of it. And I think that's what people are avoiding. Yes, divorce is a thing. Get a prenup if you're worried about it. But don't avoid marriage or belittle marriage because you're fooling yourself at that point. There's a lot of benefits that come with it, but also responsibility.
Share your thought about what the sister said down in the comment section. So go down in the comment section and share your thought. Love to know what you think about this. This got people to respond to this video, and people have a lot to say, and I have a lot to say as usual. But let's go hear other people's thoughts on this, then I'll come back and share my thoughts.
Again, videos like these give me a lot of hope. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why this today. As people, and people who are married now and who desire to get married, we've been listening to what society says unhealthy, sad, depressed, bitter, unforgiving people have said about marriage. They've taken the one good thing about marriage, having sex, and they've taken that and made that the precipice or the main captive point about being married. You gotta have, you got you a boo and all of that or whatever. But on a Thursday afternoon at 1:15, when you and your spouse not agreeing and getting irritated with each other, all of that woo-woo fuzzy feeling that go out the window, because why? People are people. So that's why y'all, this young lady and whomever else might be on their way to getting married now and in the years to come, I'm gonna tell you one solid good thing. Don't listen to bitter people. Don't do it. Look at me in my eyes. Don't listen to bitter people. If you're going to take advice from anybody, you better evaluate their whole life, their spiritual life, the life with their kids. Look at their health, look at their money, do a whole thing. If you're going to listen to somebody, and don't listen to somebody just because they make you feel good and they on your side for the moment being. If you're going to listen to somebody, you're going to take advice from somebody, you pay attention to the whole enchilada. And I'm going to tell you why. At the end of the day, it's only you and your spouse. Yeah, y'all got kids or whatever, all of that. But at the end of the day, it's only you and her, you and him. That's it. And so y'all got to make it work. And not because, I'm going to just be in this relationship, just drudgery, what. God did not initiate and create marriage for it to be drudgery. He didn't create it for us to have no duty booty. He didn't create it for women to be no doormat. God didn't create it for women to talk crazy to men. God did not create marriage for men to beat on women, vice versa, cheat, all that stupid stuff. God created marriage so that we can know each other, so that we can show the world what a relationship, what a covenant looks like between us and God and between us and people. Sex is a bonus. Having kids is a bonus. All that other stuff, all that other stuff is just a bonus. But our relationship, our marriage should be a direct correlation, a direct representation of our relationship with God. This vertical thing. I said all that to say, only listen to whole people. Seek out whole people. Because I'm telling you, man, they're going to lead you, them bitter people, they're going to lead you down the wrong path. I'm telling you. All right.
I keep hearing how marriage is overrated or just a piece of paper, and here are my thoughts on.
I was tagging this, and I'm personally not the biggest fan of marriage and signing the documents and putting all the paperwork together and paying for a marriage. I'm not. Do I believe in staying committed to someone for the rest of your life? Absolutely. The 2 perks to marriage that she says is your partner, your spouse gets to decide if you live or die, if you ever get sick or you go through something traumatic. People aren't getting on one knee thinking about that. All the women in the comments talking about, oh my God, I say this all the time. Sweetheart, come on now. You're not thinking about, oh my God, I want to marry this man because I want to make a life-changing decision for him. You're not. You talk about the deed to the house. Well, if you buy a house together, I'm pretty sure most of the time you both put your name on there. And if not, that's what a will is for, to make sure that your assets are spread correctly. 3, you bring up a prenup. Most women turn their nose to a prenup and say, you really don't love me and you don't believe in this marriage since you want me to sign this prenup.
I keep hearing how marriage is overrated or just a piece of paper, and here are my thoughts on.
I just have one question. Y'all do realize that marriage is not a substitute for estate planning, correct? And this is not a drag on marriage. If you want to do it, do it. I think it's great. But everybody needs legal documents in order to ensure the certainty of their life decisions. And there are much stronger legal instruments than a marriage certificate. So whether you are single or married, you need things like a will, you need things like trust, you need things like medical directives to make sure that not only do you position the right person to make decisions for you if you ever become incapacitated, but also that they make those decisions in the way you desire. It's also important because you can die intestate, married in a state that recognizes a share for children, and that means you do not get your spouse's entire estate. Let's be smart. Let's not sell marriage as an estate planning.
Is overrated or just a piece of paper, and here are my thoughts on that. And these are just a.
Y'all better listen to this girl. I'm gonna tell y'all a story about one of my old neighbors. So back in my old childhood neighborhood, we had this couple. They were high school sweethearts. They never decided to get married because they didn't want to. They didn't see the purpose. One day, randomly, well, not randomly, but he decided to commit suicide. He was very depressed. He ended up leaving a note for her saying he was sorry. A couple months later, guess what happened? The family decided to take the house and sell it. So this woman was left by herself, like, to find a place to live. Because guess what? They weren't married. She had no claim to the house. His name was on the mortgage. Her name was not. And that's why it's important to get married. Protect yourself and your assets.
I keep hearing how marriage is overrated or just a piece of paper, and here are my thoughts on that.
Marriage is overrated if you're with the wrong person. I think a lot of us, definitely older millennials, Gen X's, who are divorced, don't necessarily knock the institution of marriage, but we realize that it is only beneficial if you are with the right person for you. I say all the time that I don't think I'll get remarried, and it's not because I don't value marriage. It's because now that I'm divorced, I'm so picky on what kind of individual I'd be willing to get married to, and I just don't see myself finding that individual. That doesn't mean I won't date. That doesn't mean I might not have long-term relationships, might live apart together with someone. But yeah, I don't think marriage is in the cards, not because marriage is bad, but because the odds of finding the right partner for me to enter into marriage is really low.
I keep hearing how marriage is overrated or just a piece of paper, and here are my thoughts on.
And another example. If you've lived together years and years, shared a roof, you shared food, you shared a home, you have kids together, and one of you dies, you have no say. You cannot determine over your significant other's family what happens to you and potentially what happens to your children. There's no way to gain access to each other's assets. And while you're living, you probably couldn't even put each other on insurance. And let's not forget the fact that your children are going to be considered illegitimate on paper because there is no union in the home. And you have to also determine by last name what the rights look like for your children in the future.
I keep hearing how marriage is overrated or just a piece of paper, and here are my thoughts on.
Marriage isn't overrated because it doesn't have any benefits. It's overrated because it doesn't live up to the hype of the last 100 or so years, right? Where marriage was billed as the most fulfilling thing that a woman can do. Still, the most celebrated thing a woman can do is get married. So compared to that, it's overrated, right? And also, we've only really begun discussing the downsides of marriage for women in the last 20 to 30 years. It's a very recent phenomenon that people have been so outward about how challenging marriage is for women, especially if she doesn't have the right partner. So, in that sense, marriage is overrated.
Please go down in the comment section and share your thought, because that's what we do here. We have amazing conversation. So go down in the comment section and share your thought, but please keep it respectfully. You don't have to disrespect anybody for you to air your opinion. Okay. So for me, marriage is like this. Like I always look at both sides. That's the type of person I am. So if a lot of time I'm always like, my decisions is like this, because I always look at both sides. I always try to get both sides. For me, I personally, do I think marriage is overrated? Yes. I think marriage is overrated, because a lot of time those things that was sold to us, especially to women, I feel marriage is overrated to women, because a lot of the things that was sold to us, that those are the benefits of marriage. I'm talking about marriage, not the paper, not the certificate of marriage. Okay, so let's get it. Marriage as a whole is overrated for women, because a lot of the things that was glamorized for us women, when you get into it, it is not. It's usually not that way. And for me, it just takes a lot of work for you to get that that idea that was sold to us, that got us really excited to say, you know what, I'm going to spend my life with somebody. A lot of us probably got married because, oh, you know what, I want to get married because I don't want to be alone for companionship. And you find out that when you get married, your husband have to work long hours because he has to provide for the family. And there's not as if there's anything wrong with providing for the family, but you got married for companionship, because people get married for different reasons. Okay, so for me personally, then you say, oh, you find your somebody that to do life with. We've seen over and over relationship and marriages failed because one person is just picking up the slack while the other person just feel like, oh, I put the ring on it and that is all I have to do, and all I have to do is to provide money, and that is it. I don't have to be emotionally connected and all that, which it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of therapy to sort those type of things out. So for me personally, I would say marriage is overrated in that sense. In terms of the marriage certificate as a whole, okay, for me it's a very important certificate. If you're in a form of a relationship or a partnership with somebody that is kind of romantic and all that, I would say just put a label to it, because especially when both of you are mixing finance together, I'll say put a label to it, go there and get the marriage certificate, get the marriage done, because that's going to save you a whole lot in the future for a whole lot of things. So I'll say yes, especially if you're mixing money with your spouse or your partner now and you're not married. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Then the part she talks about, oh, somebody that's going to sign up for you and all that. My family member, my sister can be my nest of kin. So I feel like being married is not really like, oh, somebody else can step in. I have other family members. But that ideology that people really like, no, I personally, I feel marriage is overrated. And yeah, somebody's going to come for me, but I feel marriage is overrated. Am I married? Yes, because some people are like, oh, you married? Oh, you're not married. Am I married? Yes, I've been married. I'll be married for 10 years in the next month, like literally next month. Exactly a month from now. I'll be married for 10 years. So yeah, but I still think marriage is overrated. Do my husband think marriage is overrated? Yes. Now we usually have that conversation like, phew, lesson is overrated. Like, nah, it's not the way it seems. That's not how it is. Not what they are selling. That's not what he is. What I order versus what I got. That's what you get eventually when you get to marriage. And can you still be happy in marriage? Yes, but it takes a lot of work. But outside, they make it seem like, oh, just get married, you guys live happily. No, it's not like that. It takes a lot of work to make a marriage work. And yes, marriage is overrated. Marriage is overrated. Period. 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 I said what I said. Anyway, guys, let me know your thought about this topic down in the comment section. I'd love to know what you think about this. So feel free to share your opinion down in the comment section. Okay, but keep it respectful. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because you know how we do it here. We have banging conversation. So go ahead and share this video with somebody. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Give this video a thumbs up. Smash the like button, because that helps YouTube to push out my content. And that will be you supporting your girl. You can also join the membership by giving your girl a token, or give your girl a thank you down there. Please, I do appreciate that. Okay, your girl needs money. Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching my video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Deuces.